Who remembers 2019? Who remembers the primary topic of this channel? We were talking about this very well-known malady that had made its way into the movies that was seeing a resurgence. Fiji? Congo? Does it ring a bell? Well, there's a specific aspect of that story that's starting to come back, and when it does, it's going to change everything. The topic, however, is more than likely not going to be something I'm going to be able to speak about at length here on YouTube. This is why it's critical to sign up over at Patreon. With our partnership with Vimeo, we're going to be able to continue to talk about things that matter, things that are relevant. There's a story out of Antarctica today that should, pardon the pun, send chills down your spine. Because once this gets out, everything will change in the media, in worldwide governments. 2022 will not resemble 2021 or 2020 in any way, shape, or form. If you have questions that you want to ask me directly about this, a great place to do that is Twitch in the evenings. Twitch.tv/Florida Maquis. It's a gaming platform, and we're not there just to play games. The game is a backdrop. It's something to do while we sit around and have an intelligent adult discussion about the realities of what we're facing. They don't quite have as many censors here. You can talk about just about whatever you want, within certain bounds and reasons, of course. Usually those are set by the channel operator, which is me, so would love to see you there. The game that we're playing has absolutely spectacular scenery. I mean, it's absolutely one of the best. It's called Middle-earth: Shadow of War. And it's Lord of the Rings-ish based, so it's about what you would expect. You know, orcs and heroes and rings and all this kind of stuff, elves. But main topic of today's video. Who remembers 2019? We were talking about this very strange resurgence of a certain malady that had made its way into many movie plots. And about a specific, very weird adaptation made by this malady. It could live undetected in certain parts of the human body. The eyeballs, genitals, different places. But when it got into your eyes, this particular malady, it left a scar for the rest of your life. And oh, by the way, there are multiple strains of this particular malady that have different properties. But Antarctica, remote Antarctic station hit with an outbreak. The Belgian scientific base has reported a cluster of cases despite its staff being fully vaccinated. Now here's the part where you're going to have to read in between the lines. Researchers working at Belgium's Princess Elizabeth Polar Station, Antarctica, have contracted COVID. Oh, wait, we can't say that. They've contracted. Even though all personnel have been inoculated and any new arrival has to follow rigorous safety protocols. 2/3 of the station staff of 25 have been infected. Belgium's Polar Secretariat confirmed to local media earlier this week, but how this could have reached the remote station, located some 137 miles from the Antarctic coast, remains a mystery. Quote, all those present have received 2 doses of vaccine, and one person has even received a booster shot. But it goes on. All staff members also have to undergo a series of PCR tests on their long journey to the station. Listen to this, guys. Those en route there take one PCR test in Belgium before leaving for South Africa. and another 5 days after their arrival. They self-isolate for 10 days in Cape Town, then undergo 2 more tests, one before leaving for Antarctica and another 5 days after arriving. Nonetheless, even such strict control measures were apparently not stringent enough. As the first COVID-19 case was reported at the station, oh, there I said it, well, so much for that video, was reported at the station in mid-December among a group of new arrivals. The person in question was immediately placed in isolation, but 2 others were soon revealed to have contracted. All 3 researchers who contracted were evacuated on 23 December, but this measure did not stop it from spreading further. A virologist contacted by the Polar Secretariat said the variant strain that has infected personnel at the station might be the big O. The highly transmissible strain recently discovered in South Africa. There are 2... Oh, where was it discovered again? Oh, South Africa. There are 2 emergency doctors and all the necessary equipment at the station to treat anyone who falls ill, according to the media. In the meantime, everybody is under quarantine. You get the idea. Now, that should make you scratch your head, unless you paid attention to something we covered a long time ago. A certain malady from Africa in patients' eye fluid 10 weeks after it was undetectable in blood. 10 weeks. On May 7, researchers are reporting a case study in which viable certain malady was present in the eye's aqueous humor, the clear fluid in the front of the eye between the lens and the cornea. 10 weeks. That's 2.5 months for you and real Linda. After the virus was no longer detectable in the patient's blood. After the virus was no longer detectable in the patient's blood. 10 weeks later. In fact, story from the Atlantic. Doctors were stunned, though undetectable in the blood. The malady had been squatting for months in the anterior chamber of the eye, perhaps even replicating, without spurring an immune response. In fact, by the time the eye tap took place, that sounds like a wonderful procedure, the level of virus in this particular patient's anterior chamber was actually higher than the level in the patient's blood during the peak of the acute infection. The inner eye joined a growing list of immune-privileged pockets of the body, including the placenta, breast milk, the central nervous system, the entire central nervous system, and the testicles, where the certain malady could hide. Research on where, how long, and at what concentration this particular malady can survive is ongoing. But if the virus finds a path out of these strongholds and into the outside world, the effects will be catastrophic. Now, those of you with the ability to read in between the lines will know exactly what I'm saying here. They've talked about this, and they've even tried magical snow fencing. I mean, imagine this, hammering up one by and then stapling snow fencing over it didn't seem to stop it. Imagine that. Maybe these are 2x2s. Who knows? Point being, even Southern Prepper 1 has this today. I saw it right before I started recording. Germany shuts half of its nuclear plants amid energy crisis. Why are they having an energy crisis in Europe, you might ask? See, the green folks, they're loving this. But guess what else they're going to love? They're going to love shutting down all the crypto miners. See, when China decided to ban cryptocurrency, ban Bitcoin, ban all this nonsense, over 87,849 rigs moved to Kazakhstan. And guess what? Kazakhstan is having rolling blackouts because of the crypto miners. And there are people going without electricity who need it for heat and for cooking and for going to work so that pirates can get rich. So that pirates can get rich. See, they talk about being the future, and they talk about being the new global paradigm. They don't want to tell you there's only 114 million of them on a planet of 6.8 billion, and that they leave destruction and sadness and heartache and grief in their wake wherever they go. Oh yeah, a few of you are getting rich. They love showing people getting rich, just like pirates do. This is a scene, of course, from Black Sails, where this brothel, soon to be madam, sees more riches than she's ever seen. But eventually she figures out the game. Eventually she figures out the game, and she gives the same advice that I've been giving, and Southern Prepper has been giving, and Patriot Nurse has been giving, and Jennifer Veterans for Truth has been giving over and over again. Get your stuff in order, because things are about to go way far south, all the way to Antarctica south. So I will leave it there. Thank you to everyone who has joined us over at Patreon. I very much appreciate it. We have training there. We have information there that you're going to need to understand what's going on inside your own head. I know some people think, oh, I already know what's going on. Believe me, until you've been trained, until you understand these psychological techniques, cognitive biases, logical fallacies, those two things, and how they work and how they're implemented, you're going to be lost. You're going to be completely disarmed against people who know those things and know how to use them. Understanding those things will give you the ability to see deception from truth. And I'll leave it there. God bless. Happy New Year. Be safe. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.